We are on lesson 26. Our objective says I will be able to solve multi-step equations. Multi-step equations using inverse operations, the order of operations, and the wall technique. So, we're using inverse operations and the order of operations because in these equations there are things we're going to have to simplify using our order of operations before we start solving. Sometimes we've got like terms on one side of the equation, which is what this says right here. If we do have those like terms, the first thing we need to do is combine them. So if I have an equation like this, the first thing I want to do is split it down the middle. Once I split it down the middle, I need to look and see, do I have any like terms on the left side or the right side of the equation? So I see 5x minus 3x. Those are like terms. I'm going to underline them. Alright, and then I see 8 and 2. I'm going to box those in because those are like terms as well. So let's go ahead and combine those. 5x minus 3x, that gives me 2x. Alright, and then 8 plus 2, that gives me 10. Then I bring down that equals 20. I just combine like terms. It says to justify each step, so let's do that. Combine like terms. If I have like terms, I need to combine them before I can do anything else. Now I just follow my inverse order of operations to solve this equation. I have multiplication, I have addition. I get rid of addition first because I'm following the inverse order of operations. So minus 10, minus 10. Those cancel. I drop down that 2x. I've got 2x equals 20 minus 10, which is 10. I'm going to divide by 2 on each side. That gives me x equals 5. Okay, so I subtracted, then I divided. I did that because I'm following the inverse order of operations. That gives me x equals 5. That was kind of like an s, but that's 5. Alright, so I have combined like terms, then simplified to solve. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move to this equation right here. I see several things that I've got going on the left side of the equation that I need to do before I can start solving. First thing is I see I have distributive property right here. I can't do anything. I can't start subtracting, adding, or anything like that until I have cleaned up or simplified this left side of the equation. So I'm going to bring down this x, and I'm going to use the distributive property to multiply that 3 by the 2 and the 3 by the 4. So 3 times 2 gives me 6x, plus 3 times 4 gives me 12, equals 47. Now I'm just combining like terms right here. X plus 6x. There's an understood 1 right there. 1x plus 6x gives me 7x plus 12. Alright, I combined like terms right there. This is telling me to justify my steps. Combine like terms. Alright, now, again, I'm just using my inverse order of operations. A-M, ooh, that's an M, E-G. Order of operations backwards. Boy, that's sloppy. Let's see if we can make that readable. That's M-E-G. Order of operations backwards. So 7x plus 12. I'm going to subtract 12 on each side. Drop down that 7x. That gives me 7x equals 47 minus 12, which is going to give me 35. I have one step left. That's divide by 7 on each side because I have multiplication that I need to get rid of. Those cancel. That gives me x equals 5. Again, let's go back and justify exactly what we did. We combined like terms, then we subtracted, and we divided. Alright, make sure if you have any sort of operations that need to be simplified, you simplify them. That's either distributive property or combining like terms. You simplify those before you start adding or subtracting. Then you can follow your inverse order of operations. So let's flip to the back. Last one. It says to solve this equation. First thing I'm going to do, split it straight down the middle. Now, what I see here is I have like terms and I have something inside parentheses. There's a minus right here. In front of that minus, there's an understood 1 that we could put because this is just like distributing an understood 1. Okay? So let's go ahead and distribute that -1 and -1. That's a minus, and then there's an understood 1. You could just distribute the minus sign, or you could realize that that is an understood 1 right there. It's going to be the same thing. So I've got 5x that I'm dropping down. I've got a negative times an x. That gives me negative x or negative 1x. Remember, the subtraction sign is viewed just like just like a negative sign. So a negative times a negative 3 is going to give me a positive 3. Then minus 1 equals 18. First thing we did right there is we did the distributive property. Distributive property. We distributed that minus sign. Remember, that's just like a negative, or it's like an understood -1. So now I've got like terms that need to be combined. 5x minus x, that gives me 4x, plus 3 minus 1 gives me 2, equals 18. I just combined my like terms. Okay? Now that I've simplified, now that I've combined my like terms and done my distributive property, I can use my inverse order of operations, AMEG. I've got multiplication and addition. I get rid of addition first by subtracting 2 on each side. Those cancel. I drop down that 4x. 18 minus 2 gives me 16. I just subtracted. Let's make sure we put that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is divide by 4 on each side. That gives me x equals 16 divided by 4, which gives me 4. X equals 4. I think some of those other ones said to check the solution, which we did not do, so let's make sure we do that right here. To check, all I've got to do is plug my answer back into the equation. 5 times. Everywhere I see an x, I replace it with 4 minus 4 minus 3 minus 1 equals 18. 5 times 4 gives me 20, minus 4 minus 3 gives me 1, minus 1 equals 18. 20 minus 1 is 19, minus 1 equals 18. That gives me 18 equals 18. Oops. I plugged all of that back in to check my equation, or to check my solution to make sure that that answer was correct. To check it, all you got to do is plug that back into the original equation. I got 18 equals 18. That is all for that lesson.